Often during the editorial process, you'll be reviewing a cut and determining that you don't particularly care for a shot you've chosen and you'd like to replace it with another. Let's quickly look at how to perform a replace edit in Final Cut Pro. The clip we're going to replace is Confederacy firing line. Press Command F to call up the timeline index and select this clip to locate it in the project. Press Command Shift 2 to close the index. Zoom into the clip and press the / key to play the entire clip.
Fire!
The director doesn't like the angle or framing of the shot, and he wants to replace it with an angle from a different camera. When thinking about replacing a clip, it's often helpful to know its duration. With the clip selected, press Ctrl D. In the dashboard, the duration is just over 2 seconds. By the way, if you need to change the duration of a clip, just type out a new value on your numeric keypad. For this example, enter 100 for 1 second and press return. The duration is always adjusted from the tail of the clip. Press Command Z to undo the duration change. In the event library, select the Battle Footage keyword collection and locate the Confederacy Firing Line 2 clip. If you scroll over to the duration column, you'll see that this clip is 6 seconds and 9 frames, 3 times longer than the clip in the timeline we want to replace. Skim to the frame just before the officer yells, "Fire!" Set your range in point here. The range out point will leave at the end of the clip. Press the / key to play the clip within the selected range to preview it. Now place your cursor in the middle of the selection boundary and drag the Confederacy Firing Line 2 clip directly on top of the Confederacy Firing Line clip in the timeline. Wait till you see the clip turn white, then release your mouse. A menu appears with some replace options. We'll look at each one in turn. Let's start by choosing the first option, Replace. By choosing this option, the clip in the timeline is replaced with the clip from the event library from the start of the selection range to the end of the selection range. Because the selection range of the clip in the event library is longer than the clip in the timeline we're replacing, Final Cut Pro must accommodate the new clip's longer duration by moving the clips that immediately follow it later in time. Play the replacement clip back and you'll notice that the clip is too long and now includes unwanted material at the tail. In this scenario, it would be better to do a replace edit that uses the timeline clip's duration and not the event library clip's duration. Undo that last edit. Drag the clip from the event library down again onto the clip and release your mouse. This time choose Replace from Start. Choosing this option uses the selection in point of the event library clip, but truncates its out point to match the duration of the clip you are replacing. Play the clip back. The Replace at Start option works much better for this edit. The third option, called Replace from End, is functionally similar to Replace from Start. The only difference between the two is that instead of using the beginning of the selection range for a replacement, the edit uses the end of the selection range. I'll let you experiment with this on your own. We're now going to look at how to perform what is traditionally known as a 3-point edit. 3-point editing gets its name from the fact that you often set 3 edit points to control both the clip placement in the timeline and its duration. The value of the 3-point edit is it's very precise and it will give you a lot of control when telling your story. In the timeline, locate the Steve interview clip. We're going to create a selection range around his first statement if you care about where you live. Select the clip and press X to create a selection range around the entire clip. Press your spacebar to begin playback and press O at the end of the range when he finishes his line.
If you care about where you live, then you want...
If you place your mouse in the center of the selection range, then click and hold, a tooltip will appear and show you the current duration of your selection. In this case, roughly 2.5 seconds. In the event library, locate the Shoulder Arms clip. It should be in the Battle Footage keyword collection. Skim to the frame just as the camera is tilting up from the rifles to the soldiers' faces and press I to set the beginning of the range. With the 3-point edit, the range endpoint of the clip in the event library will be matched with the range endpoint of the clip in the timeline. You don't need to set a range out point for the clip in the event library because the range out point has already been created in the timeline. When you execute the edit, Final Cut Pro will calculate the duration for you. In other words, the range out point of the shoulder arms clip will be determined by the range out point of the selection on the Steve interview clip in the timeline. There are 3 points to this edit: the range endpoint in the event library, the range endpoint in the timeline, and the range out point in the timeline. Let's execute the edit by clicking the Connect button or pressing Q. The clip is connected to the primary storyline, and its duration was perfectly matched to the selection on the Steve interview clip prior to executing the edit.
If you care about where you live,